Hi and welcome to Watch the Time. We're getting close now to the end of 2020, thankfully. And I think this is a year that most people will be happy to see out and be grateful that we're still here, even. I bought myself a little trinket with 20. It's the only thing I've got with 2020 written on it. I just wanted something to sort of commemorate this year, if you like, if I made it, kind of thing. So I've got myself a little Alox Swiss Army knife with 2020 written on it, and I really like that. So today's review is about actually this watch here, and it is an absolutely cracking little Timex. It's called the Timex port because it looks a bit like the porthole of a ship or something. Nice little watch. Just quickly go over the packaging. It comes in a very simple box with a plastic sort of display case. It's a Timex. It is what it is. So the first thing I want to talk about whilst you're just having a look at the watch is the price of it. It's around £114, $125 new. That's the retail price, but you can generally get it a bit cheaper than that, and you'll get discounts on it. And if you can get it at the right time of the year, you can get that down to sort of nearer £60, maybe $70, $80. So it's a nice value watch. And I will be doing some comparisons with what has become my standard for a sub £100, $100 watch, and that is the Steel Dive Willard here. And we'll do some comparisons and who are these watches for, kind of thing. So as you can see, I've got this on just a very simple navy blue NATO, and it wears really nicely on that, and I think it matches it really well. It actually came with this just a normal leather kind of Timex, normal fare. It's a genuine leather. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. The colours more of a, I don't know what you'd call that. It's more of a greeny blue than a sort of a navy blue. And I wasn't keen on the colour, but the strap itself is absolutely fine. There's a nice signed buckle there, and it's got quick release spring bars. Yes, it's nice, but I'm not keen on these kind of straps that taper quite thinly anyway. So I thought, I wore it for a day on that, and then very quickly whipped that off and put it on just whatever I had, which was happened to be a navy blue NATO, which actually goes really nicely with that black dial and that blue bezel. So the watch itself is around 42 millimeters across. It's like I don't know what you call that, a bowl kind of shaped design with those sort of protruding lugs. Quite a nice, elegant designed watch. I really like it. Quite thick for for a quartz. I think that's about 13 or 14 mil thick, I think, but it wears nice on the wrist. Even on a NATO with 2 passes underneath, it still sits nicely on the wrist. Now it does look a bit like a dive watch, and this is where this gets a bit odd. This watch, you'd look at that and think, oh my god, that's going to have really good lume. Look at those hour markers, but the hour markers are white paint. They're not lumed at all. So the only lume on this watch is on the hands, and it's actually quite good lume. It lasts really well, and there's plenty of it. So the lume on the hands and the second pip is really good. But then there's no other lume. So it's like, that's why do that? I would have preferred to have no lume, full stop, because so as you can see, there's a little bit of lume there on the hands. Actually works quite nicely, and quite plenty of lume, lasts plenty of time. But don't worry about the lume. Don't worry about the lume. Ready? Oof. Look at that. Oh, there we go. Now that just kills any kind of lume going. It's so legible at night. It's unbelievable just to press. Unfortunately, this hasn't got the function. I think it's called night life or something. Night something where you press and hold it, and then when you next press it, it stays on for a while. Hasn't got that, but you can press and hold it for as long as you want. So you can use it as a torch or whatever. But look at that. I mean, that's just, you can put as much lume as you want on a watch, but that just kills it, doesn't it? Absolutely fantastic. So this is kind of, and I miss having a watch with Indiglo in my collection, because sometimes you just want a watch where, if I'm on call or I'm having to get up early in the middle of the night or whatever, and I just want to, I wake up and I want a quick look at the time. I don't want to sort of struggle looking at a watch with lume. I can just go bosh. Look at that, absolutely fantastic. you can almost read the, yeah, you can read the writing on it. It's so powerful. I love it. So as you can see, the Indiglo works absolutely fantastically. You can't beat it for a night watch, for visibility. It's absolutely fantastic. So we've got a date complication with a Cyclops. You can see there. I'm not too offended by that. It works okay. I can take or leave it, to be honest, but it's fine. To be honest, with the Cyclops, it's the only way I can actually read the dates with my eyes when I'm not wearing glasses, so I don't mind a Cyclops. Now, I pitched this watch at kind of just a great everyday grab and go watch. I wouldn't call it a beta watch necessarily because it's quite fancy looking. You could certainly wear this, suited and booted at the office. And almost as it's not really a dressy piece because I think the markers are sort of too blobby for it to be that dressy. But I think it's one of those all occasion watches you could just wear as an everyday watch. And if you've got, say, a collection of automatics, for instance, it's always good to have a quartz as your grab and go watch. And I've got no issues wearing quartz watches at all. I know some people are like, ooh, it's like the devil, but one of my favourite watches in my collection is my Omega Seamaster, and it's a quartz. And again, a fantastic grab and go watch. Just look at the colour of that bezel. The bezel on this doesn't move. It's just really for the minute or seconds markers, but that's fine. I haven't got an issue with that. So there's no timing function or anything on this watch. It's very basic, but it keeps absolutely perfect time because it's a quartz. It's quite lightweight. It's nice on the wrist. It's comfortable and it's good value. So whilst we're talking of value, let's bring in something that costs around the same money. So this is where I like to bring in the Steel Dive Willard. I think they call it the 1970 or something. This is these two cost around the same. If you can get this in the sale, you'll get this a bit cheaper, but they're very close on price. And we've got a quartz, we've got an automatic, a Seiko automatic, a Timex quartz. We've got a Steel Dive, a kind of a Chinese generic brand. A big chunky dive watch with a lovely chunky metal bracelet on it. And here we've got a much lighter weight sort of. Certainly on the NATO Timex watch. Now, when it comes to value, it's difficult to say because it looks value-wise that this is a much better option. You're getting that nice bracelet, albeit you have to, if you want a decent clasp, you have to replace it. But we're talking £8 or something. And you're getting an automatic watch and things like that. But you put this down on a Friday, you come to it on Monday morning, it's stopped. Whereas this one is still going. So, swings and roundabouts with regards to quartz and automatic, mechanical watches. Accuracy on this is absolutely fine, but it's nowhere near as good as this. I think I got this, this is around, actually it's always been around 2 seconds a day, whereas this is point something of a second a day. I can't actually test it. It's sort of, I haven't got any way of testing this other than to say it's less than a second a day. So, it swings and roundabouts, and then obviously you've got the style differences, and, I know this is blue, this is green, but you can get this in blue as well, and black. They only seem to do it in this one colour, this sort of black dial with a blue bezel, and I think it's nice. It's quite muted, and it's quite a nice watch. So, when it comes to value, you've got to think about, if, for instance, you're buying this for a gift, who is it for? Is it someone that will appreciate an automatic watch, or is it someone that just wants a watch to grab and go and wear for a few years and then move on to something else? But I just wanted to highlight these two together as being two watches very, very different but around the same price. And of course here you've got Timex. You've got a company with a lot of horological history behind them. I just noticed the crown is signed there. It's got an X on it and a T for Timex. Let's do it that way up. There we go. Timex. That's a nice touch. And there it is on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, it's although it's a 42mm case, it doesn't seem to wear that big. The lug to lug is a reasonable distance. It's certainly doesn't overhang my wrist or anything. I don't get hung up on exact measurements and things with watches. You'll know that. You can always look at the spec if you want, but at the end of the day, I just think it's one of those things. They either look right or they don't. As long as your lugs aren't overhanging your wrist, and this doesn't, by miles. So you could get away with a much smaller wrist than mine. which is about average, and you'd be fine. As you can see, even on the double pass NATO, it doesn't sit too high on the wrist. It's got a nice sort of almost like a dressy look to it of the case, but then the dial is a bit more fun, a bit more tool like, and it's got that porthole look that they're going for as well, and I think it captures that quite nicely. So whilst I wouldn't suggest this to be a dress watch, I think you can wear whatever you want as a dress watch, to be honest. If you want to wear a Seiko Arnie as a dress watch, I've got no issues with that. Why wouldn't you? So I think it's a watch for pretty much all occasions, and I say if it's a gift for someone who's got a lot of automatics and they just want a quartz in their collection, I think it's great. Someone for an everyday watch, it's great. I can't really fault it. I'm suspecting the glass is just some sort of acrylic. I doubt that that's sapphire at this price, but I haven't got a problem with that. It looks to me like acrylic, and there's no AR coating. You don't need it with acrylic anyway. It's really legible, this watch. So just your standard Timex case back. This is part of the Waterbury collection, this watch. It actually tells you on the back that it's a 20mm lug width. Watchmaker since 1854 there, so there's your heritage. And look at that, WR100, water resistance to 100 metres. Well, bear in mind that's just a push-on case back. It's not a screw-down crown, but we've got 100 metres, and it's got Indiglo, so you press the crown in. I wouldn't do that underwater. But we got 100 metres of water resistance. Now, when I bought this, it didn't mention the Indiglo, so I didn't think I was getting Indiglo, but I did think I was going to get nice Lume. And in one place it said 100 metres, and in one place it said 50 metres of water resistance. Well, on the watch it says 100 metres of water resistance, which makes this, a great everyday watch. That's a better water resistance level than my Omega Speedmaster, for crying out loud. And so I just think that elevates this watch to one that I can put in the category of okay to wear, just generally everyday use, because I think 50 metres of water resistance, you're sort of pushing it there. If you're ever in situations where it's going to get a good dunk in. So I just think it gives you that added sort of security, if you like. Just showing around the case there, really nice. Obviously, if you put this onto a NATO, you'll need your own spring bars, but most of us have got those, and you can pick them up cheap if you haven't. And it's just 20mm, so it's the most popular size. So there it is, back on the wrist, and I really like it. It's a nice lightweight watch. It's super comfortable. It's one of those watches that you put on and you just don't know it's there. It's in my opinion an absolute little cracker from Timex. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.